Hey y'all, grown black folks talk. It's winter, y'all. And the silly men who want to weaponize it have been made fools of yet again. There's a lot to go into this video in a very short period of time because I don't want this to be an hour video, although it could be. I just want to talk about, you remember how I talked just a few weeks ago about how certain men are trying to weaponize our shared ancestors against us, their sisters, their mothers, their daughters. I thought about this we have now had to endure for 2 years. The silly thing about winter is coming. But you know what the thing about that is? See, when you try to command stuff you don't have command of because you're not God, never will be, won't even sniff it, don't even have enough money and resource to even play God. If you think six figures is a lot of money, six figures is only a lot to a community whose net worth is -$5. So you can't command the weather, you can't command the climate, you can't command the calendar, and you can't command your ancestors. So you got to find a white man's fiction, Game of Thrones, to try to scare some people who you do not own. Ain't got a throne, ain't got a kingdom. And even your man who was going to play Kang the Conqueror now has a misdemeanor record and is down 10 to 100 of hundreds of millions of dollars. And the man who made this current about winter is coming has some plant being had the roots gone that deep, getting ready for their spring by enjoying iron and calcium and carbon that he has left, just like all of us will in due time. But it does help you if you neither become nor associate with foolishness of that level. Leave them in 2023. Let me give you this lesson another way. I don't care how big, bad, bold me you think you are. Now, some of you are not religious, some of you are not Christians. You do not have to believe what I say, but if you live long enough, you'll find out. Human beings have free will, just like if you tie a ball to a string and run around a circle. A ball can be at any one of the 360 degrees and any of the divisions of 360 degrees in infinity. But that ball is still bounded by the length of the string and how fast it's being gone around. Your finite will exists inside an infinity. And the one who commands infinity has determined two things. You have free will to choose the foolery. But as Donald Gray Barnhouse explained it, yes, God permitted sin to come into the world, but he also already set the rules by which sin would be sinned. And he also set up that the soul that sins, it shall die, with all kinds of horrific consequences along the way. So you can be Rudy Giuliani and think you can pick on two black election workers from Georgia. You can do that. You could be in bankruptcy today and have forgotten because you didn't think you could lose that even though your second defamation trial, the judgment there will not be they will not be able to get to your assets for the second judgment. You filed bankruptcy 2 days too late. Any judgments you have outstanding under New York law have to be paid out if you don't declare bankruptcy ahead of time. You can be former President Donald John Trump and get your behind knocked off the Forbes list and be involved with multiple trials. So you're going to be out here trying to campaign. And even though your supporters are plenty loud, the 68% of us that did not want him in office last time do not want him in office this time. We have not gone anywhere. And Colorado knocked him off the ballot. So that leaves him having to figure out how he gonna carry 49 states. Now, the Supreme Court may come along and do a little bit for him, but down in Georgia where Ruby Freeman was being messed with, there's this woman named Madam D.A. Fani Willis. She just snapped up all of Donald Trump's associates, and they're flipping like I would flip an egg. This trial starts on March 4th. Still winter. See, it doesn't matter who you are. If you want to spend a lifetime emulating the worst of people, the people who abuse and misuse, the people that adulterate and fornicate. If you want to do that as a man, you're going to get caught up. You're also going to get caught up as a woman. Shout out to Tasha K. And I don't come back to silly black women. Well, we shouldn't agree with Cardi B because she's not ADOS. She also got lied on and she was right. I'll come back to silly black women in a minute, but let me just deal with these silly black men who do not have the least bit of resources that Donald Trump and Giuliani have to have got to be old men before time caught up. You know, Tory Lanez this time last year, riding high. This Christmas will be his first Christmas dinner in prison. He may get a conjugal visit from that silly woman who is his wife because she's trying to make sure her son has his father. And somebody needs to take her and shake her awake and say, baby, he needs better than a felon. Andrew Tate, riding high last year. Romania came and got him, snapped him up. Don't know how that trial has turned out yet. Some of these folks from the winter of 2021 are dead. It grieves me in a way to see the way younger YouTube channels are trying to use Kevin Samuel's old footage because he has no relatives in his estate that can defend his assets on YouTube, or trying to repackage that for new people. And how those who grieve that man are running around giving away money just to have some connection to that man. It grieved me to know that at this late date, they're so empty just before I hit that do not recommend button and start killing their algorithm before it can blow up, before it can blow up. Because this is the thing. Whenever I meet a man who does not know that he barely has command of his own position, but is trying to command the weather, I leave him where he is. May I suggest you do the same thing? Because, see, ladies, well, here's what you have to understand. If you partake in the foolishness, you get the results of the foolishness. Mrs. Daystar Peterson has only begun to understand what a disaster it is to be connected to an unrepentant family. Megan Good has walked herself up on the foolishness also. I would look sideways. Now, I will say that Mr. Major's particular case is a bit unclear. Um, I can see why they did not accuse him of intentional assault. Reckless assault probably does cover it pretty well. You're 6'3" ish. You don't get to pick up some little woman and throw her anywhere. That's just not what you do. And if you don't know that, then you get what you pay for. But at the same time, Megan Good needs to look sidewise as a man who is an actor. He's just an actor. He doesn't have the training or the background of a Dr. King or President Obama, ideating himself out that far and wants to turn a little white woman her into a Coretta or a Michelle while still having access to sleep with her without commitment. Megan Good needs to look twice, and so do all you other women that keep chasing after these men that ain't got no sense. Yeah, I said that. Because you have to be very far out. You know, if he had said, I need you to become Jackie Kennedy, he would have been just as he would have been. As Lloyd Benson said to Dan Quayle once, I knew Jack Kennedy. You're no Jack Kennedy, and certainly not an Aristotle Onassis. Still delusional, but a little bit less so. But you can't have the freak in the streets and then expect that suddenly you're gonna get the lady in the sheets. No, get your life together, zip up your pants, control your sexual nature, get saved, control your lust, and get ready to be the man who can have a woman like that. And ladies, vice versa. Leave the foolishness in 2023, because I guarantee you what's going to happen. What's going to continue to happen in 2024. I can guarantee you this because I understand how the universe actually runs. Go to the middle of Nebraska. Stand out in the middle of a cornfield. Today's December 21st. Anytime between now and March 21st. Pick the biggest blizzard you can find and command it to stop and stay out there. See what's going to happen. You going to arrive in heaven or hell. Guaranteed. From a cold winter anteroom. There's a song about this, very ancient, like 1820. Well, it was edited for the last time in 1828, so it was written before that. Man comes out here and ends up in the winter anteroom of the second death. Because you know that if he does not make the right decision, he's going to get eaten up by dogs or starve or freeze. If he doesn't make the right decision, he doesn't. And he chooses the very act by which he dies. So here's the deal. Anybody out there with him who also didn't make the right decision is going to starve or freeze or be eaten up by the dogs. And you can do all three, by the way. And if you looked at the earlier song in the song cycle, in the said, a crow has been following him looking for his meal for a good long time. So that's what people are doing. They are in the winter anteroom to the second death. Rudy Giuliani let his tired behind run out here 15 minutes after being convicted of one defamation case, $148 million down that he cannot discharge in bankruptcy, and got himself into a second case. Donald Trump keeps coming out of court trying to break these gag orders. I'm like, what's going to end up happening is you're going to set up a cascade. The only thing, and then let me tell you, well, they're not being, no, what these judges are doing is waiting until 2024. Because what's going to happen is he's going to set up a cascade of contempt of court situations. And then you just need two or three of these judges to decide how we're going to ship him back and forth from prison. He's not going to be able to campaign. Trust and believe they're just waiting. You figure if he gets caught up in January or February, the trial in Georgia starts in March. So what you going to be doing for campaign season? Which means he can only count on the 30 to 40 million people who are absolutely insane for him. He's not going to be able to capture many more people. And as many people are frustrated with Joe Biden today, if y'all listen to black women making money, when those interest rates come down next year, the economy is going to start to boom. And guess who's going to get credit for that? Yes. Be a whole different story by November of next year if things go well. Of course, now we could be in World War III and all of us could be where our souls are prepared to be. Granted. But it's just like if you study people who play long games, well, all right, well, let's back up here just a little bit. A whole lot of people have been warned about their behavior in our community. Even Tyler Perry is now who's up there talking about you only should need a man in your life to pay a light bill and take you from dinner to time if he has good character. Well, Mr. Good Character early next year may get caught up on some interesting charges of his own. Now, it could be that his accuser is referring to someone else or is cloud chasing. But see, you keep on doing the foolery. Yeah, keep on doing the foolery. Tory Lanez was warned. He did not know that California was just sitting there. The Lord sent two choice servants. One of them was Sir Walter Jones, who I know personally, to attempt to reach Kevin Samuels. And Kevin Samuels was in his chat where Sir Walter Jones preached to him the true and proper gospel, whereby the Lord Jesus Christ died on the cross for the sins of even men like Kevin Samuel, and he could repent and be saved. Instead, he decided to die in fornication with some flus that he picked up, who was neither the size nor the age he recommended to different people. So he died a hypocrite and got caught out there. That woman did not go with him to the hospital. The second ex-wife didn't complete the divorce, and the reason that people can take Kevin Samuel's stuff off of YouTube and make a whole bunch of new videos that no one is left for him is interested in defending it. Because and if the documents that I saw were correct, his second ex-wife gets paid was probably well, he's been demonetized by now because he hasn't put up a new video. He's dead. But she walked off. And if you go ahead and do your research, you'll find out something interesting. That was a woman that already had $7 million. He married up. He was hypergamous. She came and got his 4 million. So all that talking smack that he did, all he did was add more than a third to her wealth. And anytime she wants to add another third, all she got to do is put out a book called Surviving Kevin. All that noise that Rudy and Andrew and Kevin, Tommy Sotomayor got knocked off the air a long time ago. He probably has a new channel by now. But I'm just saying, and Tommy, David Carroll, and all them. And I forget the real name of mediocre tutorials and reviews, in a hyper masculine environment they're in. He's down a testicular cancer, but thank God he survived, got time to get his life together. That Hilarion Anton Daniels, got put out there too, to the FBI and the ADA. Why? Because he out here what? Out here talking about genocide of single women, black single mothers. Everybody got to expect people dug all up into him to see what he was doing. But see, he's alive because he listened to his black wife and went to the hospital. See, a whole lot of people talking mess. You can safely leave them in 2023. Because what's going to happen is the consequences. Because the rules by which sin shall be sin and the foolery shall be done by fools always include you're going to get away with it for a minute. You will be allowed to get away for a minute so that those who refuse to repent can be drawn off into your strong delusion and thus choose their own destruction as well. There will not be confidence with love calls herself a heretical heathen, but she wrote a book, and the title of the book was Nos Damnare Nostrum. We damn ourselves. We are literally watching people on all levels of American society, men in particular, but I mentioned Tasha K. I haven't forgotten. Damning themselves live. Our response to this, however, should not to be proud, because as Black women, we can do exactly the same thing. Other groups of women, white, Asian, Latino, are perfectly capable of letting you know real quick. Confidence with Love talks constantly about the Black female maternal mortality rate and talks from the point of view of being a nurse. She knows who attends to us in hospitals. Because I had a major injury, I know the difference between the treatment I got from the different people over there, too. I saw that as in care for a long time. I saw how white women didn't want to do anything for me, but because I was fully conscious and because I wouldn't take all of the medicine that was prescribed to me, they also knew I was aware. I let it be known I was a professional journalist. And then some people, some Latino women got out of pocket. I documented it on my phone what they were doing to one of the Black nurses there and sent it to the ombudsman the next day. See, the other thing is skill up because those women are going to come at you. Marissa Price, Stephanie Perry, and their guests have been talking about Black women in toxic jobs. Well, who do you think is making these jobs toxic? So we need not get out of pocket because the same difference that there is between a white man and a Black man, the exact same difference is between us and a white woman. So we need to skill up and get our lives together and not be proud because our brothers, we may not claim them, but we also are in a community that has -5 net worth. That follows us too. So you need to be doing something about that for your personal life. Now, I was sitting up here today, rolled over in bed, and was thinking about options I have to be able to pay a particular bill. That's a beautiful place to be in. Wasn't always there. Plenty of options to clear this off. So I'm going to clear off a lot of stuff before the end of the year and then go into the new year and have more money to invest because I got to get back together with True Mystique because we got to do more stuff with this. I have people now contacting me from across the globe who also want to get a piece of the rock in Europe. Yeah, y'all. They want their piece of the rock. So I have to get my life together. I have to make sure that, auto billing, yearly auto billing is a terrible thing because you don't always remember. But auto billing, you really have to stay on top of your stuff. So I got to shut some people down, get them out of I've already started, get them out of my pocket, make sure that they don't see me again in January. We're not going to do this. Nope. We're done with all that. Why? So that I can direct my money the way I want it to go. That's part of me getting my life together. I got to continue to do some more skilling up next year. I got to continue to do money up next year. I got to continue promoting this book. One more thing. Part of getting my life together. I had a wonderful interview with Mr. Cyrus Webb, and he and I will be doing Blog Talk Radio in January. In January. Cyrus Webb is the kind of man that men who talk to foolishness and talk about winter is coming will look down on because of his phenotype. But do you know men like him are out here giving access to real buyers on Amazon Live? And see, men, the winter is coming crowd misses opportunity to network with men. Meanwhile, women like me do what we're going to do and get on with life and ignore everybody else because it's about who you can work with and who wants to do good and working with them. And then when you get really good at that, you then cross racial lines because there are stupid men in every race. I think I mentioned Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump. I just walk up, I put a Tic Tac in my mouth and just walk up and start grabbing women. That's dumb. I just got convicted of defamation, so I'm gonna come out of courtroom in the next 15 minutes and get caught up again. That's dumb. I'm gonna declare bankruptcy 2 days too late. That's dumb. That's real dumb. But the main thing is, don't get so caught up in rejoicing in it that you don't do what you need to do. Because again, whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, whether it offends you to be told, the rules by which foolery shall be done have been set. The consequences that come for the foolery have been set. Let me go back to the way Dr. Barnhouse said it. The rules by which sin shall be sin have been set, and the consequences. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. Don't you mess around this winter and be in the winter anteroom to the destruction of all your hopes and dreams for all eternity. Don't you do it. Don't get so caught up pointing fingers at these silly people that we see around us, at these silly men. Yeah, winter's come again. I'll be out there in it tomorrow, probably. I had to be sensible today and realize I have a foot that was not happy about a step that I took and it needs an extra day. So you still have to operate in wisdom. So I stayed in today and made some deals and got me a few extra pennies on the side doing that. And I'm looking over at the calendar. I'm watching the calendar, count down on some other things. I told you I'm eliminating the things and people from my life, didn't I? Because I have to continue to get my life together. But winter is here, baby. Winter is here, baby. And all these people trying to weaponize what doesn't belong to them. Laugh silently, because these men are violent. Laugh on the inside, smile, and walk on. Don't mean mug. Same reason. I mean, I talk about women who talk about, I don't even look at, I don't even smile at them. I got that, but at the same time, a soft answer turns away wrath. That's probably some teaching I have to do next year. It's not always about what you feel people deserve. It's about, do you know what to do to get through the engagement? Now, of course, Confidence with Love right here is going to say you also can call 9MM 380 if you live in a state that can do that. California is getting worse and worse. With the new law coming on the books on January 31st, January 1st, dumb and dumber. However, there are other things to be done. One has to have a particular set of skills that involve a particular set of things. So get the skills, ladies. Understand that you can safely leave these winter brats and let them deal with their consequences. Because that's going to roll into 2024. But leave paying attention to them. That button, do not recommend. Make that your best friend. Kill these people's channels before they even start. Kill their algorithms. Don't go up there arguing with them. That helps to boost them. Kill their algorithms and move on. When I'm watching something, I see foolery on the side of YouTube. Click, 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 click. Do not recommend, 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 do not recommend. I just love killing their algorithms. I love that. So their foolery doesn't get big enough, so we got to come back here and talk about how God sent two wonderful representatives and they probably ended up in the pit anyway. Let them go to the pit from the beginning. At least the pit of social media obscurity. Yeah, I forgot. Fresh and Fit got demonetized and all kinds of stuff happened. And Cynthia G too. See, like I said, I don't discriminate. You do the foolery. Again, the rules by which your foolery can be foolerized have been set and not by you. So you're going to keep on talking Hitlerian foolishness. You're going to deal with the consequences that Hitler dealt with. I mean, we don't talk about that enough. Do y'all not know that Germany was destroyed and half of it was left in the hands of people that had something to say about how Germany had gone into Russia and destroyed and killed? Germany killed 12 million Slavic people by comparison to 6 million Jews. So when the Russians took East Germany, they had the next 45 years to do what they wanted to do with that on half of Germany. That's what Hitler's foolery got his people. But fortunately, there was a man named Konrad Adenauer who understood that the only way out for Germany was to repent, admit its crimes, and turn from them. He was Christian. He became the first chancellor of West Germany, and he led Germany through denazification and let his people out. So he abandoned the foolery, and West Germany stayed strong enough so that when it was finally time for all of Germany to be united, West Germany was able to absorb the economic blow to make that happen. because I don't care who you are, a person or a nation. And see, this is the kind of stuff that makes me worried for the nation that I live in. Because see, what I'm really talking to y'all about, just like the song Der Lehrmann, which was written by the Austrian composer Schubert, what I'm really talking to y'all about for 2024 is not just current events review of the year. I'm talking about this. People who are trying to weaponize our ancestors and the seasons of the year have already decided that this is their portion. For no man ever attempted to be God who did not fall straight through to the pit of hell lest he repented, from Adolf Hitler on down. Every Southern slave owner who thought he was going to get out there in the Civil War and change that failed. This is where you're going. You don't get to play God. And that goes for women as well as for men. I want you in 2024, as Jesus said, to have life and have it more abundantly. But if you're under common grace, at least have it abundantly. Stop worrying about people that are writing the ticket to their own doom. That's all they are doing. Hit do not recommend and be happy. All right. We're not quite at the end of the year yet, obviously. Um, we're gonna see if this thing with Christian Keys and comes out with Tyler Perry as it is predicted to do. And if so, yeah, we're gonna come back and talk about it because it's gonna be real interesting. If you're gonna talk about a man, a character, a light bill, and take you out to dinner a few times, ends up, well, we'll see what happens. It'll be real interesting though. And frankly, for all the hurt feelings that it's going to hurt and how many people that have been entertained, I hope that this does not turn out the way it looks like it's going to. We'll find out. And then I may decide not to cover it because it may actually be something more germane. Because, like I said, these men keep knocking themselves down. So, how much more time do we need to spend on it? Well, we might give that a day, just like we gave Johnny Majors his day. But, like I said, y'all, it's winter, baby. Enjoy yourself. You may safely ignore all these different people who think that they can weaponize what doesn't belong to them and continue to enjoy your life and do the things that you need to do to get your life together and skill up for 2024. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening.